Right, so you've done this test in class. It took you 2 hours, so it'd be stupid not to actually get involved and try and do this video. So I'm going to split this video into like 2 or 3 pages at once so you don't get too bored. But I really, really want you to use this, so please make sure you do, or I'll cry because it's going to take me like an hour. Right, these tick boxes ones, I just can't, you can't lose the marks on this. It's too easy, right? So which of the following are fixed costs? Now we know fixed costs are costs that do not change with output, so they don't change. Now the key bit is they don't change with output. I'm going to have to get better handwriting. Right, anyway, so monthly payment for a coffee machine. Right, the monthly payment is going to stay the same every single month, so that's a fixed cost. Right, bill for electricity to power the coffee machines. We'll go back to that one in a second, because sometimes, right, I think it depends on how many coffee machines are going. So the more machines going, I always think that might be variable. But anyway, payment of business rates on the premises, right, that's not going to change. That's going to be fixed. It's the same every single time. Now, ingredients, that isn't, because the more products you sell, the more ingredients you're going to be using. The rent for the shop, that's definitely fixed. And you have to pay more VAT the more products you sell. Because VAT is every time you sell a product, you have to pay 20% VAT on it. And then you have to pass that on to consumers. So because these three are so obviously the right answers, this one must be wrong. And the idea is that the more coffee machines you need, because obviously if the business is doing well, the more electricity you're going to use. Anyway, I probably went too big with that one. Let's move on. Okay, so really easy. First of all, let's remember what private limited companies have. There's two things when you define a private limited company. One is that it's got limited liability, right? Oh, what am I doing? I'm falling apart. Liability. Right, fine. Also, private limited companies, they only sell their shares to people who are invited or to family and friends. So I'm just going to write invited for no reason. Right, anyway. So, maximum number of shareholders is 20. That's rubbish. That's to do with a partnership. Shares are not sold on the stock exchange. That is right for a private limited company. They're sold on a public limited company. The name of the company is followed by the letters LTD. That is right for a private limited company. And PLC is for a public limited company. So the answer. Right. For some reason, the exam board are absolutely in love with this idea. They think this is the greatest idea for a question. They'll do it every year. So let's go through them. Right. Which of the above best describes each of the following? So the number of people someone in a business is directly responsible for, that is the span of control. That's what that is. Not much else I can say really about that. The measure of assets and liabilities of a business, that is the balance sheet. Whoops. So when you get them right, you can just cross them off to make it easier on yourself. They're out of the way. Means of identifying customer needs using questionnaires. Now, questionnaires, we know that's got to be do. Oh, now this is where they've screwed us slightly. We've always talked about primary and secondary research. Right, primary research is research where you go out and you actually do it yourself. So they call that's actually field research. Desk research is where you do it at your desk, like looking at the internet. So that's secondary research. So anyway, going back, we know that a questionnaire is primary research, so that's called field. So that's the answer. Sorry that I haven't really taught you that yet. Anyway, moving on. A document drawn up by businesses aimed at persuading a bank to lend them some money. That is a business plan. That's what the answer is. Easy. Right, this one annoys me slightly, right? Because I think it's making a very easy topic slightly harder here. Right, so you've got to fill in these boxes. Now, for me, I'd actually put months down there as like in that bottom corner. For some reason, I thought it must be months, but it's not. These are like the different stages of the product life cycle, and you got to label the graph to show the various stages. Now, it doesn't say label the graph to say the months, but I still think you should get. Anyway, who cares? Right. So beginning, we're going to call this the launch. Now, some people call it launch. I would also call it development, but the exam board says launch, so from now on we're calling it the launch. The reason why this is the launch is you haven't made any sales yet. Then, this is... Right, this next one is growth. Now, personally, I think they could have made this introduction, but anyway, who cares? This is how they're doing it, so we're just going to follow what the exam board says and deal with it. Now, annoyingly, you're thinking, well, there's an extra stage here, and this is maturity. Now, we've always called maturity and saturation the same thing, but for some reason, the guys at the WJC have said, no, we're better than that. We're going to split it between saturation and maturity. That's rubbish. That's what they've done, so we're just going to deal with it. We're going to follow exactly what they say. And finally, decline. Now, for me, I think if you started putting in different words there that made sense, the exam board would have to accept it. But just whatever that is, just copy it and do the same. Right, oh, we love this. Outline one strategy we might use to extend the product life cycle of cocoa. What's it called? Cocoa flakes. Right, remember, these are called extension strategies. So I'd be tempted to define extension strategies just first off, just because I just want to prove how amazing I am. This is the one chance I get to prove how amazing I am at business studies. I'm going to do it. So I'd say extension strategies are strategies used during the maturity stage of the product life cycle to do what? To extend the life of a product. So one strategy, after I've said my little definition, one strategy might be to change the, I'm going to write it, change the price. One might be to change the flavour. Another one might be to change the logo, the packaging, brand name, anything, any of these things. Now, if you just listed all these things, that'd be stupid because, remember, they've just said one. So you've got to say one and then explain it. You're going to get the second mark for explaining it. For example, I'd say one strategy they could use is flavour. They could change the flavour. This means they could, instead of having chocolate flavours, they could have strawberry flavoured ones. That's pretty much it. And they say this will extend the life of the product because it's something new for people to taste. I know that sounds stupid, but just keep on saying more and more stuff and you'll get more marks.